energy becomes more like liquid, it should be movable.
The energy market is changing faster than ever. In October, Ember Electric released data that showed that renewable energy power output in the first 6 months of 2025 surpassed that of coal for the first time in history. It really is a momentous achievement, but is our use of data and digital systems keeping pace? I'm here at the Meteor Control offices in Berlin. I'm joined by Stijn Stevens, who's the CTO and co-managing director for Meteor Control. Now, Stijn, what do you make of that question? How are we using data at the moment? How are we going with digitization? And why do you think it's so important?
Yeah, thanks, Jonathan. Yeah, it's truly a milestone that we have achieved. It has always been awaiting from everybody within the market that this point is going to be there in time, and that we are pushing the renewable energy to the next level. And we will, it needs to be, because we're also heading for, at the end of the millennium, 3.1 degrees centigrade climate change. So we need to speed up a little bit. And we think that digitalization plays a crucial role in that. So it goes on many levels. Let's start with bringing a site up and running. That process takes time, also with the grid operators and the utilities, and that is by no means standardized and digitalized. So that will be a first step in the process that speeds up the renewable energy transformation. Then, of course, everything for creating the projects, connecting the different players within the lifespan of an asset, the ones that create the project, the ones that do the calculations, whether or not it's profitable, yes, no, create a business case, all the information that flows from one party to another. At the moment, most of those players use Excel, PDF, at best. So there is a huge margin that we can still can lift and make sure that there's no loss of data, and that every party within the industry works as efficient as possible. That's one side, getting an asset online and using it. That will already mean a big push. But of course, you can also use the data for business intelligence. And that nowadays is still in the infant state, I would say. We have huge pools of data, how an asset is working, how it is behaving itself. And taking that data to the next step and making also conclusion and helping the operators handle the assets better and with more intelligence, that of course will also leverage their costs a bit, and making sure that everything is more resilient and orchestrated better than it is currently is. I'm not saying it's bad, but it could be better. So there are so many fields that we could use the data better than we're currently using it.
Yeah, still a lot of work to do, but a huge potential there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, as you say. Well, that's talking like on the individual project or fleet level. In a moment, let's talk about on a system level. But one topic or one theme that we're hearing more and more about, and in fact, we're all using more and more of in our daily lives, is artificial intelligence. Now, it's a really interesting interrelation with the energy sector, right? Because AI requires huge amounts of energy, but it can also play a big role in utilizing data and helping to streamline processes. How big do you see the potential for AI is in the energy industry and in renewable energy in particular?
My standpoint to that is we should be ambitious, but also realistic what that is concerned. Of course, AI has, to my opinion, a transformational energy capability to truly transform the business that we are currently used to. There are, however, processes that require absolute truth, so no mistakes whatsoever. If we're talking about grid, you want to have quality of grid, so no mistakes can be made there. And we also all know that AI at the moment can be not truly correct every time, and you always have to check whether or not the result that comes out of it is correct. I'm also convinced that that is just a matter of time until we get to that point where it is truly reliable. And of course, you can also embed it into a certain framework that checks everything, whether or not it is according to the system models and stuff like that. So I do think that there's a big potential for AI in the future, and also we as Meteor Control, we are experimenting with that. So not only in our products, but also within our company ourselves, so that we can increase the efficiency of working together, and also working on projects, creating code, for example, that needs to be somewhat regulated, because there's also, of course, you have to make sure that the AI tool uses the correct data and has not access to certain data that it can't use. So we have an AI policy internally in Meteor Control that governs that. There's also some frameworks on the from the European Union that we are compliant to. So within this frame, it's going to be an interesting journey in the next few years coming up. And we should also not be completely blind for the footprint that AI has on electrical power consumption. It is estimated by the Central European Bank that by 2026, the AI improvement and training and so on takes up 4% of the complete European Union energy consumption. And that's huge. So I think we should use it and we should explore it, but we also should not be blind to the footprint that it is causing. And maybe we can revert it, that it is an extra incentive to put more renewable energy into the market to compensate for the training of the AI.
A great opportunity also for the renewable energy industry as well to supply AI. But of course, energy is vitally important, and if you have an AI chatbot that comes up with some nonsense or a source that it's hallucinated, that's not such a big deal, but it is a big deal if you're talking about the energy system.
Absolutely,
yeah.
Yes.
Okay, well, while we're talking energy systems, digitization also has a role to play, and the use of data in terms of bringing sectors together, different economic sectors, and that's also a crucial challenge for the renewable energy rollout, is to get renewable energy used in different parts of the economy. What experience do you have at Meteor Control in terms of delivering on that promise?
Yeah, so that is one of the cornerstones or the strategies that we're working at. And in the past, energy was kind of rigid. It was either solar, either wind, or whatever other form there is. But that now, because everything what happened since 2021, the flexibility of assets and energy sources has become much more important. And I always use the term like energy becomes more like liquid. It can be in one form, but it also can be in another form, and it should be movable. And that is something that we as MC, Meteor Control, see as our task, to make that energy in a liquid state, so that our customers or our end users do not have to worry about how to do that, how to orchestrate that, and also facilitate the participation in different markets, which could be very cumbersome if handed over to the customer because they have to be knowledgeable. And we want to offer that experience and those gateways to those markets, and also help orchestrating the energy flow within a facility. So that in the end, the levelized cost of energy, so what the end customer pays for his or her energy, is as cheap as possible without all the concerns that for orchestrating that comes on the shoulders of the customer.
As cheap and also as clean as possible.
Yeah, and as clean, of course. We are in a renewable energy space, and Meteor Control only looks at renewable energy and pushing renewable energy.
Well, this orchestration role is a really exciting one, and we'll be talking about the importance of data security, which is absolutely vital when we are talking about the energy system. Stijn Stevens, thank you very much for your time. We'll talk energy security and data security in part 2 of this conversation, so keep an eye out for that. I'm Jonathan Gifford from Climate Copy, and thanks for watching.